warm welcome to you. I'm Reda Satki from the Geneva Learning Foundation, and we're going to be today going through the briefing for the EIR Level 1 course, which I will be taking you through. This is the one and only time that it'll be really an information dump of what I hope will be all of the information you absolutely need to make it through this course. So first of all, if you haven't done so already, please do type the name of the city and country that you are connecting from into the chat window. In a few minutes, I'll be introducing both the Paajo team and the team from the Geneva Learning Foundation that will be supporting you throughout this course. So here it says your active participation is required. There will be a time when we're going to ask you to share and to speak. So make sure that your headset is working properly, your microphone, and if you have lots of background noise behind you, then please make sure that you isolate yourself so that if we do call on you to speak, you are able to connect. Yes, Ja has already reiterated my next slide, which is you have a little option. You can share your chat messages, and we really want to encourage you to share with your colleagues in the course, fellow participants, not just the course team. So choose the option all panelists and attendees. Otherwise, your colleagues will not see your messages. Also, because this is an information briefing, I want to make sure that you're able to ask all of the questions that are on your mind about how this course is going to work. So you can see here there's a Q&A feature. If you're working from your phone, it should look like that. Look for the Q&A button and click on it, and you'll see a panel open up where you can ask your questions. So that's to help you get started. Now, what we just kicked off is what we call the mandatory weekly discussion group. So this is the structure of the discussion group, and they'll become familiar within a couple of weeks. But except for today and potentially during orientation week, all 6 of the discussion groups, 1, are mandatory, and 2, require your active participation. So it's really about either you will be presenting about your coursework, or you will be giving feedback to your colleagues who are presenting your coursework. And just one very important note is, this is a global course. We have literally people across the world. So it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be. And if you're not used to participating in international courses like this, we refer to the time in Geneva, Switzerland. So forget Greenwich and universal time. We consider the Geneva to be the reference point. And if you're not sure what the time is in Geneva, when it's 4 o'clock in Geneva, what time it is for you. If you're here, you figured it out. But you can ask Google or use the website like time.is. And it really is your responsibility to make sure there's going to be a time change as we move into daylight savings time here in Western Europe, and it's your responsibility to make sure that you don't get mixed up between your local time and the time in Geneva. Now, there's also a resource folder where you'll find the slide deck, so there's no need to ask the question, will the slide deck be shared? And just so you can get to this first one, here is the link that I'm sharing in the chat. I'm sure my colleagues from the rest of the team will also be sharing it. Now, because this is a mandatory group, what happens if you are absent? So we recognize that, of course, you can have absolutely legitimate reasons for absence. And if you do, then there is a specific procedure. So there is a legitimate absence request form that you need to complete. But wait, that's not all you need to do. You also need to actually complete the catch-up task for that week. And what's wonderful about this type of digital course is that you can participate in the discussion group after it's happened by watching the recording and by contributing to the community by completion of the catch-up task. So again, this is a requirement for certification in a rigorous course. So the problem is not if you miss a session, the problem is if you fail to complete the absence request form and, even more important, to complete the catch-up task for that week. And again, if you have questions about these policies, you'll find the details on learning.foundation in the actual course website. And you can also ask any additional questions or ask for clarification using the Q&A button. I just want to warmly welcome and greet Bernadette, Celine, let's see, Esu, Tanushri, Dinesh, Louvel, Grace, Nadia, and of course the course team will be introducing ourselves in in a couple of minutes. Now, before we go any further, there's actually you could break down the tasks even further, but what Ja, who prepared this slide deck, has done is she's really focused on the 3 essential things that you should have done by now. So you should see up on your screen your options and check the box next to the tasks that you have actually completed. And this way, this is also a checklist, so you can figure out if you missed something that you haven't done yet. Some of you have joined the announcement channel on Telegram, but you haven't joined the chat group. And the chat group is optional, so make sure if you opt out, it's because you don't want to chat with others and not because you did not read the instructions that were shared with you. All right, so we have wonderful. So all of you who are here have joined the course website at learning.foundation so far. If you haven't, please submit your poll without checking that box. That way we can help you. So the point, and you'll get a sense of how much support there is in this course as we move through the briefing. Now, some of you have not joined the course announcement channel in Telegram, so I'll be reviewing that in a second, exactly how you do that. And then the same with the chat group. It seems to be perhaps the same people. I'm not sure. So, all right. And let's see, we've got more than half of the group that's here. So I'm just going to share. And we'll be doing these little polls, and we ask that you need to think on your feet, take the time to think about the options, and then really. So here we have. All right, so great, well done on joining Learning.Foundation. And now for some of you, the next challenge is to make sure if you review the instructions that you have received and you review the posts in Learning.Foundation, you will find the links to the Telegram announcement and chat group. And it's important that you join those because it provides an immediate connection to the course. Now, on Monday, and you received an email with step-by-step onboarding instructions. So it's extremely important that you read this line by line, and I've included a sample. So if you haven't found it, check your spam. It's been sent to the address that you supplied in your application. So if you received a letter of acceptance, you must have received this one. You'll need to find it. Search for onboarding instructions in your email if you need to. And then once you found it, don't just stop there. That'll be satisfying if you missed it the first time, but then read line by line and make sure that you have completed every step. So by Wednesday, out of the 65 people accepted into this course, 40 of you had marked at least one lesson as complete on Learning.Foundation. Now, some of you have already had questions about how to access Learning.Foundation. So this is a course website. This is where most of the coursework and certainly all of the resources will be shared. It might actually be more reliable than a Dropbox folder. The Dropbox folder perhaps is an option for those who don't have reliable access to the internet, for example. So here you see what, alongside with the onboarding instructions, if you have never taken or started a Scholar course on Learning.Foundation before, you will get a new Scholar account. If you have done, say, Teach to Reach or DIP Level 2, in that case, you already have an account. You don't need to try to create a new account. You simply need to use your usual login and password. Here you see some of you, let me actually get myself out of the way. So you can see on the sign-in page, at the bottom of the page is an option, a link that says forgot password. So if you do not recall your password, or if you cannot find this email, just click on that link and then you'll receive an email to reset your password. Again, you'll need to find that password reset email, which can sometimes be challenging for some of you. Once you log into Learning.Foundation, you will see the Paajo Level 1 Scholar Certification. And this is a secret. We don't advertise it, but some of you have already discovered this button, this little dark blue circle with a little smiley word bubble inside. That is one of the best ways to request help. Please use it, but also please do not abuse it, all right? Every request means that someone from our team will have to look at it and respond. So even though we appreciate you being social and friendly and saying hello, do not use the help request just to say hello. You have many other ways to do that with us, and we're pretty friendly too. But this is really, if you're stuck And this is a second rule about using the help request is do not click on that button unless you are sure that you have done everything in your power to actually solve your own problem. That means reading the instructions, viewing the tutorials before you ask for help. In more than 90% of the cases of help requests that we receive, the answer, the solution, the specific steps to solve your problem was right there in the instruction or by following a tutorial. So we really appreciate your effort in this respect. Now, everything you need to complete the course is on the learning.foundation website. So you can see here, if you have seen this screen, this is what we call the dashboard. On the left-hand side, you will see all of the posts that you need to go through and review. That's the content and the activities and the instructions that you need. And in the middle here, you have how to get started. You also have the direct links to the chat on Telegram and the button if you have a legitimate reason for absence from this discussion group. So this is the only time in the week that you will have to attend at the specific date and time. I've explained the procedure if you're not able to make it and you have a legitimate reason. But the rest of the week, you will have a lot to do, but you will be able to organize your work at your own, at your own rhythm with deadlines on successive Fridays. And those are important deadlines that you don't want to miss. Now, some of you who are very diligent will notice that it's hard to get to 100% complete in the dashboard. Don't panic. Whenever we add new content, so new activities, you will see your percentage go down. This is not your grade. This only shows you how many posts you have marked as complete. And in fact, we have the other problem, which is some people do not mark any lessons as complete. So it's this button here when you're on a page for an activity in learning.foundation, you'll see a button called complete lesson. If you neglect or forget to press on this button once you have finished with a page, it will look to us like you haven't made it. All right. And that you haven't completed this activity. And so, when in fact you may have. So you may receive then scary messages saying, why didn't you finish the final step of onboarding? So really be systematic. Once you have finished with a page, mark it as complete. Mark the lesson as complete. And one more piece of advice is really, there are downloads. So for those of you who have to pay for bandwidth, you can look at the videos directly on learning.foundation. But probably what you'll find more useful is to actually go to the downloads. And that's this, it's not obvious. You've got this little downward arrow and this little hyphen. And that is where you'll find the MP4 file. So a video file you can download and that you can view on your computer or even on your phone offline when you don't have to pay for the internet. So that is available for every video in the course. Now, I see a question about the Telegram channel. And yes, Ganesha, if you only got to 93% complete, there's probably a video that you did not watch to the end, but I wouldn't worry about it. If you're sure that you've watched everything, then you should be fine. And your percentage will go down as soon as we add the activities for orientation week. Again, it's not a grade. It's only to help you figure out as you make progress how much you have left to do. All right. If there are any questions so far, I am keeping an eye on the chat and on the Q&A. For Shah, who's having trouble, so there are some countries where Telegram is blocked. So Shah's first question before sharing the link or along with sharing the link should be really to check that your country is not on on the list that is being blocked by Telegram. The announcements channel is mandatory to the extent that this is where you will find important messages and reminders. In most cases, almost all cases, I believe, you will be able to look at those, to find those same announcements inside the learning.foundation website. So we will be using this a lot this week and next week. But once week 1 starts, get ready because we are going to treat you like the responsible adult learners that you are. That means we will not be chasing after you for homework. We will not be sending you repeated reminders. It is really in your hands to organize yourself and make sense of how this course works, what the deadlines are, and make sure that you keep up with the work. The chat group, now some people find the chat group too much. All right. It's a free for all. Everyone can speak to everyone else. The announcements, only the course team can send out messages, but the chat, everybody can speak with everybody. And some people just might send messages that are not useful for all of the people on the chat. Because this is a smaller group of participants, of learners, actually, in this case, I would suggest you joining the chat. I don't think it should be overwhelming unless we have a couple of people who really go overboard with the chat. Now, I wanted to give you this sort of preliminary introduction to just jump right in and give you a sense of the rigor of this course and what our expectations are going to be. But I think it's super important to meet and hear from the team that is responsible for the guideline on electronic immunization registry, and that will be guiding you and advising you and giving you feedback throughout this course. So I'm going to switch. Let me just remove the spotlight and switch here to the gallery view. And here we're going to ask, I'm going to ask Marcela, Marta, and Robin to introduce themselves.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, indeed.
Okay, hello. My name is Marta Velandia, and I'm working with the Pan American Health Organization here in Washington, D.C. So for us, it's morning. So good morning, but good afternoon and good evening for everyone. We are very happy having you in this course. And we are here for answer your questions and help as we can do. So thank you for being with us and welcome.
Well, good morning, good afternoon. Good to see all of you. My name is Marcela Contreras. I work at Paajo too, and I'm more than happy to learn from you and learn all your experiences and see what you're doing with the EIR. So thank you very much for being here.
Hi, good morning. This is Robin from Paajo. I'm so happy to see you all here. We're really looking forward to having you a part of this course. I'm certainly looking forward to learning from all of you. And thank you so much for taking the time, no matter what time it is where you are, to join the course. And we'll look forward to talking with you every week. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Paajo team. Marta, could you tell us just a little bit, give us a summary of why you and Paajo's experience with electronic immunization registries is significant and specific to the region?
Well, very short, because if I have time, I can talk and talk. So here in the region, we have for example, the oldest electronic immunization registry in Uruguay. And then the Pan American Health Organization, that's the regional office of the World Health Organization for the Americas, start to encourage countries to develop electronic immunization registry. At this moment, we have like 19 countries working on electronic immunization registry. We have countries that have electronic immunization registry in the entire country. We have other countries that are implementing electronic immunization registries in different subnational levels, and we have other countries that are starting to work in their own electronic immunization registry. We did this course last year in Spanish for them, and it was very interesting to learn from them all the experience that they have. So if you have questions, just ask. We're more than happy to share all this experience with you.
Great. Thank you so much, Marta. And so let's go back now to the, let's go back to the slides. I'm just going to spotlight that for everyone. So here, so here you can see past and present members of the Geneva Learning Foundation team. I think we'll have to update these photos, but just to give you a sense of those who are in the room, we have Alain Blaise Tatsinku, Shalini Kare, and Min Jha, who are with us today, and you'll be spending quality time with us. So for the sake of time, we'll be introducing ourselves next week. So before we go any further, we are a small group of right now probably complete strangers for almost all of you. But I can tell you that in the coming weeks, we will be spending quality time together. We'll be getting to know and appreciate each other. So this sequence is really about giving you a sense of who were these 65 exceptional individuals selected by the Pan American Health Organization for this course. So as you know, almost 1,000 applications was received in less than a month from all over the world. And out of those, 6.7% of the applicants. So I'd like you to reflect on that and really think in terms of the commitment that you are going to need to make to survive this course and successfully complete it. What it means, especially if you're the only person from your country, or conversely, if you're part of a group from your country, then you really have a responsibility to each other. So here you can see there are participants from 25 different countries from all over the world. And you can see this is by number of scholars as well. Now, in terms of demographics, you can see that the course is almost, let's say, almost 40% women. And the age, there's a good age distribution, not anything specific there. I'm not sure, I don't think the colors are meant to actually indicate anything. So please do not interpret Southeast Asia region as red as meaning intended to signify anything. We might want to use the same colors here for in the future. African region, 38%. 37% Americas, and then you see representation from the other regions. Organizational affiliation, you can see there's a broad distribution, but basically subnational and national level Ministry of Health staff are the majority of the people in this course. The system level and immunization experience, so you can see here almost half the cohort is works at the national, central, or planning level, and then a third other subnational. You can see the distribution here. And this is a very experienced cohort. So what I'd like to ask is, there are also a few people who are just starting out in immunization, who may have extensive EIR experiences or expertise, or as on the IT side, but who are new to immunization. So I'd like to ask those of you, the 18% who have 16 plus years of experience, if you could be gentle and indulgent with them and share your experience. That's really the spirit and the intention of this course. 3/4 of you have been directly involved in the design, planning, or administration of an immunization registry system. So again, the same message there's 1/4 of you who have not been directly involved in the past. That doesn't mean they're here by luck. They have something to do with EIR, or else they would not have been selected. And therefore, I would ask those of you who have significant experience to share that experience. And those of you who are new to take the time to listen and learn before you draw conclusions or make assumptions. And you can see the same here with a few people. I think it must be 8 or something. Y-axis is kind of odd here. But a few people who have no experience, and then fairly good bell curve distribution of people's levels of experience. Almost all of you have the agreement and the encouragement of your direct supervisor to participate. And now here is a really important point. In the course application and in the course announcement, we spelled out that participants should expect to dedicate at least 6 to 8 hours per week to coursework. And yet there's about more than 1 in 10 of you who indicated that you had less than that to spend, to dedicate to this course. Let me tell it to you straight. It's going to be very unlikely that you will make it if you dedicate only between 1 and 4 hours to the course. Though there must be other compelling reasons for why you were nevertheless selected to this course. But we know that if you don't think thoroughly about how you're going to carve out the time that you need to survive this course and to make it through this course, to succeed in this course, it's likely to require more than half a day per week. That we'd rather be upfront with you about this. Now, one good news is that almost all of you have taken an online course before. However, I'd like to share that the methodology for this course, the tools, the platforms, the approach may be significantly different from other online courses that you have taken in the past. So don't assume that the way you have done online learning before, that it's going to be the same in this course. And please make yourself at home. Take the time to understand. We have run more than 28 cohorts for the World Health Organization using this scholar methodology. And just take your time to understand it. And if it's different from what you're used to, then you'll make the adjustments that are needed to help you make sense of that. Now, we're at the 25-minute mark. And before we go any further, I'd like to open up the microphone and ask for volunteers. So if you are on the participant side of this Zoom webinar, please, you'll see a little hand-raised icon. We'd like to give you 3 minutes to answer these questions, so don't be shy. You just need to raise your hand. And while you're... Okay, I was going to... Great. Let's go to Shah. And Shah is the first one to raise their hand. So, and then Mohammed is next. Yes, Shah, welcome. You seem to have a lot of background noise. How are you doing?
Thank you, Rida. Thank you, everyone. And let me introduce myself. I'm Shahnawaz Jiskani, Monitoring and Evaluation Officer with WHO Country Office, Islamabad, Pakistan. I have completed my onboarding, except my joining in the chat groups of Telegram, and I use the proxy server, so I think it is banned in our country. That's why I'm not able to join that group. I have already participated in some of the courses of this scholar group and then certified in some course. My role in my country is to support government, provincial and national governments on monitoring and evaluation and data related things, and especially in my country, we have one successful electronic registry implemented in one of the province. That province population is around 50 million people, and currently 3.4 million children are registered in that electronic registry, and we are using, but till date we are not able to make that province or any district of that province paperless. So at the moment we are maintaining both electronic registry as well as paper registry. So we want to get rid of those things. And last is the biggest problem that you face in that is a problem. I tell you that our compliance is not 100%. There are some of the issues still we are going with paper and electronic things. So this is all from my side. Thank you, Rita. Over to you.
Thank you, Shahnawaz Jiskani. I could not assume that it was you, but you are a very experienced scholar. We have in this course participants who have never taken a scholar course before. What would be the most important piece of advice that you can share with people who are taking this kind of course for the first time?
Rida, definitely, first of all, they have to dedicate some time. As you told that we have to spend at least 4 or 5 hours in a week, and then we should keep log of things, especially Thursday mandatory meeting. We should not miss it, and then we should remember our deadlines of each assignment, and we should complete our assignments timely. We should not keep those assignments for last day. If we keep on last day, then we may not achieve our targets. And last not but least, we should consult our peers and in colleagues in this group. We are lucky that here only 6 point something percentage of the total candidates are selected. So we should not waste opportunity that these are the most experienced and selected people from thousands of the applications. So we should consult and get benefited from the experience of each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Shanawaz Jiskani. Let's go to Rudy. So I think there's a problem with the Zapier registration because we only see the first names in the Zoom chat. So please introduce yourself and tell us your full name, your city, country, organization, and role before answering the questions. Welcome, Rudy.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Termidor Rudy. I'm come from Haiti. I'm working for the Ministry of Health at the Studies and Planning Unit. So I have completed my onboarding. I've already completed my onboarding on the platform. It's the first time I have taken this kind of course. So in the Ministry of Health, at the unit planning, at the Studies and Unit Planning, what we do exactly, it's we are responsible for the health information system. We design a health information system for the immunization using DHIS2. So I'm so excited to participate on this course, to know, to learn a lot of things about the EIR. So maybe with the DHIS2 we can using the tracker module to track all the kids for the vaccination. So it's my first time. It's my second time to take class with Paajo, but it's my first time to take this kind of class, EIR, so about the Electronic Immunization Registries. So I hope that I will be available for this class. So I normally organize to have 6 hours per week to in order to take the class. And then, so I'm so excited, and thank you. That's all.
All right, thank you, Rudy. Let's. So we're going only to hear from two participants. We'll come back to these questions if time allows at the end of this briefing. But this is how we will be doing a lot of the discussions groups. Will be your presentations, feedback, and advice guided by experts. But first of all, let's give a round of applause to our first two presenters in this course. Thank you, everyone. I'm sure this is what we would be doing, and I invite you when we do this, when we do the applause, actually bring your hands together. Even if your colleagues look at you funny, it's yes, at least we can share across distance and defy distance in order to share and learn together. So now the specifics of how the course is organized. So you can see some bullet points here. The bullet points would basically been, you've heard the message from Shanawaz Jiskani, who successfully completed many Scholar courses, is that during orientation week, get ready for Monday, maybe even Friday. We'll share the updates if they're ready. So those of you who primarily have organized your work on the weekends can have the pleasure of doing so without falling behind the following week, because during orientation week there will be a new task every day. Now the good news is that each task will take usually less than 30 minutes per day. But the recommended approach, and what we find amongst people who successfully complete this course, is that during orientation week, they got their act together and made sure they found 30 minutes in each of their days, Monday to Friday, to actually just look at the post, figure out what am I being asked to do. If the instructions aren't clear, there are many ways to get help, but we hope the instructions are clear. And then follow up on the task. Usually it's about sharing your experience or discovering a resource in the course. So that's orientation weekend. It's about helping you figure out how to find your way around, how to navigate, how to orient yourself in the course. And if you make it through orientation week, you will probably do very well in the course. If you fall behind next week, don't panic. There are many people who aren't up to speed yet during orientation and who still get their act together. The second critical point is finishing the first assignment that you will start on the Friday of orientation week. Now, the support and advice, we've also reiterated this message, is that there is the Telegram group, but an important point is don't only go to Telegram. You do need to check into learning.foundation. And then in addition, I suggest using the sort of blue circle at the bottom right of each page on learning.foundation to get help. But you can also send an email if you're more comfortable doing it that way. All right. Now, there's 6 very specific, very detailed learning objectives, and I invite you to study them and to think about them. What do they mean to you with respect to the work that you are doing or would like to do on electronic immunization registries? Learning objectives, if you look at everything we will ask you to do in this course, is intended to in some way help you progress towards achieving these objectives. Now, certification requirements, as I said, this is a rigorous course. I'm going to move myself out of the way so that if you haven't yet seen this information, which is found in the learning.foundation website, remember to mark that lesson as complete, or else we'll assume that you haven't looked at it. The only way we can know if that you have looked at a page is if you click complete lesson once you have actually read the content. Conversely, we don't want you clicking complete lesson if you haven't actually done it. But these are the certification requirements. Now, it may not be obvious to you at this stage, if you're a new scholar, what exactly is a creator project. That's just the main course project. And basically, there's a sequence of weekly assignments that you have to complete every successive Friday. And then alongside the weekly assignments, you need to start as early as you can to build your creator project, make sense of what we call the rubric, and then submit each weekly assignment as well as the creator project on time. That is really the key to the course. Now, you have an invaluable resource in the course, which is the guideline issued by the Pan American Health Organization about electronic immunization registry. So you will not find, this is not a content-heavy course. But for those of you who want a reference work that you can really deep dive into and spend a lot of time to guide your work, your coursework, you have this very comprehensive, very high quality resource available to you. Now, what's the most important deliverable in the course? So you do have weekly assignments, and those are also required for certification. But your objective is to actually develop a plan for EIR. If you and we do this course correctly, this plan should actually be in some way useful to your work. It should be something that you can proudly present to your boss or to your team and use it towards whatever it is, whatever stage of the EIR you're at, to help you make progress. Now, what's important is for you to be thinking, what does my calendar look like between now and the 20th of November? So this is going to be an intense course. I've repeated myself and I will repeat myself again. You will hear this from Alain Blestad-Cinco. You will hear this from Minja. You will hear this from Shalini Kare and probably from the Paajo team as well. And it's about getting yourself organized. It's about looking at your calendar. You know what the challenges are. You know how busy you are, but you've taken up the challenge of this course, and even further, Paajo has selected you to do this course to serve the needs of your country's expanded program on immunization. So take out your calendar if you haven't already done so. Pull it up on your computer as you're listening to me and ask yourself, what am I doing during these weeks? What are the challenges? What are the priorities I'm going to have? And then second question, most important question of all, how do I carve time out of my schedule to make sure that I can actually dedicate time to study? If you don't do that now, it's going to be very difficult to do it later. Now, the next critical piece of information is what we call the rubric. So if you're a doctor, think of a checklist that tells you what are the determinants of quality. So with the Paajo team, we've put together this rubric which spells out what are the criteria for quality in your course project, what we call the creator project. So that will be available to you. That will be shared during orientation week. And I urge you to read through it right away. You're going to use it as you develop your project, but it's likely to be useful even for the weekly assignments. You don't want to neglect it. And don't sort of download it and ignore it, or don't download it at all. You want to make sure you download it and read it and begin to make sense of it, because this will spell out, the rubric is also the instructions, the set of instructions for what you need to put into your main project. So the course dates, again, this is restating what you saw in the earlier slide, are very specific. Now, There is a 2-week term break after week 3, which will give everyone a pause, and time for some of you perhaps to reflect on what you've done so far and do potentially additional work on your creator project. All right. We encourage you to keep up and not hope that you will somehow be able to catch up during the term break. So the coursework deadlines every Friday at midnight Geneva time. So in the Americas, if you're in the EST time zone, for the Caribbean and the Eastern Seaboard of the United States, so that is -6 hours. That means it's 6 p.m. Friday. All right. So you'll have to figure out how to do this work during the week. And we understand everyone has challenges. Everyone is busy. And getting into the business of granting, looking at individual requests for extensions is just not manageable in this course. So the bottom line is you need to submit the work on time. We expect the same level of professionalism that characterizes your professional work in the rest of your professional life. Now, we've also been very careful to really calibrate this course so that it is doable. All right. We're not asking you to do the impossible. A lot of what we'll be asking you is asking you to draw on your experience, things you already know, to document your context. And as you engage with the EIR guideline and the advice and the experience and case studies shared in the course, help you build that plan that will constitute your main course project. So we have time now for participant presentations. We've actually got 20 minutes. So we're going to hear more from you. And Happy, I don't see any questions in the Q&A, so I hope this means this briefing has been incredibly clear and comprehensive. But if it hasn't, and you're left with questions, we don't want you to leave this briefing. I don't want you to leave this briefing with any questions about the course. I want you to feel like you understand what's going to happen, when, and how. So let's go to Mohammed, and let's go to the questions so we can, here we go. All right, I'm assuming this is Mohammed Imran Qureshi from Pakistan.
Yes, thank you very much, Reda. And first of all, my introduction. So my name is, I'm a medical doctor, and my name is Mohammed Imran Qureshi. I'm connected from Lahore, the famous city of Pakistan, from the province of Punjab, and I'm serving as technical officer in EPI Punjab. Punjab is more than 52% of the total population of the country, and it's more than 117 million population country, province. So coming back quickly to the question. So for the first question, the answer is yes, I have done and completed all the onboarding steps. Coming back to question number 2. So as it is a new course and I have done almost all the previous scholar courses. So what is key to success to complete such courses is basically the dedication, commitment, and obviously the specification for the requirements of the course. And that requires a time slot to be specified, and probably it requires your daily indulgence and daily commitment. So I have just dedicated certain time slot for this course, and I will try my level best to just complete all the necessary requirements and tasks on daily basis so that I may not lag behind. And if whatsoever, despite of all my good effort, is left behind, I would try to catch up during the weekends. So that is probably the best approach which I'm following since last courses. And so far it has given the results. So coming back to the question number 3. So I'm basically thinking that this is the right time to have such a wonderful course from Paajo with collaboration of Geneva Learning Foundation. As this province of Punjab is has started planning for EIR in Punjab. As Shahnawaz has already told that one of the province has already has a pilot of EIR in Pakistan. So Punjab is now interested and has applied and got probably the results that we will be getting a go ahead for EIR. So right now we are in the phase of this designing and planning. So an important experience what I already have is EVAX. although this EVAX was not exactly the EIR, but it was having pretty similarity, as it was an electronic sort of monitoring tool, which was originally designed for the monitoring purpose for the vaccinators, but it has already got certain options for this child level data registration. So we could say that it was sort of EIR elements as well. So that was wonderful experience, because it was started when the coverage was low in 2014, and the main problem which we were like discussing at that time was probably the low attendance of vaccinator in the field for the outreach vaccination sessions. So once this EVAX was started with the support of Punjab Information Technology Board, so we were being able to gauge the attendance being marked electronically, and while using it during our monitoring meetings and sessions with the higher ups authorities from the government side, Secretary Health and the Minister for Health, we were like displaying the results, and the accountability section helped us to improve the attendance. And at the same time, it was also containing child level data. So that was also helpful to get at least some sort of child registration, which we used for our purpose. And that also helped us to gauge the geographical coverage of the areas. So that was just one experience, and I'm sure that experience was utilized in EVAX 2 and EVAX 3. EVAX 3 was even a bigger approach, where we were like planning to have the chip small card, which was sort of a chip card inserted into the immunization vaccination card, and the NFC enabled, that was called. So this technology was taught, and the data of child level data was supposed to be stored in this chip, which could be like used in subsequent vaccination schedules of this child. And the same probably was used for robo messages to the parents, and many of the features of electronic immunization registry was already there. So we could like summarize, there were like many factors which were already in the designing and planning phase as far as EIR and its shape was concerned in the past. So the biggest problem which we are facing these days is basically, there are mandatory requirements to start with this EIR. Although the wish list is long to have EIR, but yes, there are certain requirements to develop this EIR. And I would request to the course team to share, if at all it is possible, for any smart checklist, which are the mandatory requirements to have a good start with this EIR, so that we could like just take each of the requirement in the checkbox and just see how much we are ready to just like have a good start with this EIR. So in my opinion, the biggest problem, technology and the use of technology and the availability of internet everywhere where it is required. And in certain areas, the connectivity is not good. So for that reasons, probably if it could like work off on the offline mode, then it would be even better option. The other problem which I foresee is basically to put all the children data before the start of this EIR into the gadget, into the tools, so that you could already have your target children enlisted, and then from there you could start. So putting all those children data would be never an easy task to get a good start for this EIR. That is from my side, and thank you. Over. Best of luck.
Thank you, Mohammed Imran Qureshi from Pakistan. So yes, we now ask for another volunteer to raise their hand. I would, if you are shy and perhaps introverted and not entirely comfortable speaking in this kind of space, I'd really like to help you feel welcomed and supported, and would encourage you to raise your hand. If you have, you have the answers to those questions. It's just that you're not quite comfortable in this space yet. Just go ahead and do it. Hit the raise hand button, and we will listen. And we really, really want to hear your voice and to hear from everyone in the course. So please go ahead and raise your hand. Otherwise, we will be a little a little more directive and unmute. Yes. All right. Let's go to Mohan. Yes, and it's unfortunate we only have the first names, but I think that's a technical glitch on our side. Mohan, welcome.
Hello. Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
welcome.
Am I audible?
Yes, we hear
Hi,
you loud
good
and clear.
evening, everyone. I am. Hello. Hello.
Yes, you are loud and clear. Please proceed.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Mohalata. I am from Delhi, India. So it's evening right now here in India. Begin with the questions. I have completed my onboarding and I have done all the steps and those were asked. And for the second question, I will organize my time by giving time on regular basis, like daily I'll try to give at least 1 hour to this course. So like that I'll try to manage with the all the deadlines for the assignments and everything. And for the third question, right now I am working as district quality assurance consultant in the health government, Delhi health government. So in my current job, I look for the quality of health programs, including the immunization program, where I look for the implementation and data monitoring of immunization. So this is my exact role. Overall, my experience in the immunization program is for about 1.5 years. And basically I work more for implementation part rather designing. So I basically work in the implementation of immunization activities like session conduction and helping the nurses, midwives and doctors in planning and micro planning of the sessions, etc. I also help the data managers to enter the data, and also I monitor regularly the data they enter. Coming to the next question, the fourth one, the biggest problem which I face till now is the data entry, because the staff feel that let me begin with the background of the background of the immunization data which we receive. We have a RCH portal, that is reproductive and child health portal, and which is also in the form of Anmol. So the data managers as well as the nurses, they have to uh, they have to register data on the physical copies, like on formats and registers, and after that they have to fill that data on the portal as well. So data managers think that they are doing the duplication of work, and because of that we sometimes lag behind with the indicators and with the data. So that is the main problem which I have faced. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. All right, we've got 7 minutes remaining. I would like to take a few minutes for the team members from the Geneva Learning Foundation to introduce themselves. And I believe we'll start with Alain Blaise Datsinku, because he has kindly offered to stay beyond once this discussion group is formally over, for anyone who would like to, who needs technical support, who needs assistance with getting on learning.foundation, who has questions about how it works. There have been almost no questions in the Q&A, but nevertheless, Alain, could you introduce yourself and explain why we call you our secret weapon?
Good afternoon, Reda, and good morning, and good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, good evening. So yes, Reda, I'm really happy to be here, and like you said, I want to stay a little bit more for some minute to just make sure that we are all on board, because as we heard, and I'm really excited, we are all interested in the cause. So we really want to make sure that all the innovative tools that we are using to provide that environment that we usually call the scholar community, you on board so that you can make the most use of it, because we know that it's important for you at the end to have that creator project, the one that you want to have, the one that is really helpful for your immunization system. And we are staying a little bit more because that's how the community is. It's about providing support, working together, helping each other, learning and share until we cross the final line with the product in our hand, making sure that we contribute to our place of work. So that is why, Reda, I'm really excited to be here and looking forward to have this kind of interactive session. I would just want to add that those technical sessions are also a venue to get to know each other, to really know who is my peer in that course, and you will see further that it's a peer learning and it's wonderful. So welcome all of you. You're welcome to stay, and then looking forward to have you. Thank you, Reda.
Thanks, Alain. And probably next week in orientation, Zhao has planned to share the specifics of how this course is really at heart about peer learning from your peers. Dr. Alain Blessatsinku is himself an accomplished immunization scholar and initially joined his first course, just like some of you are joining your first course today, joined his first course in March 2018 and then ultimately joined our team. Dr. Shalini Kare is also an accomplished scholar alumnus. Shalini, would you like to introduce yourself? Don't forget to tell us where you're connecting from, and what would be your advice perhaps to new participants who are joining this course, such a course for the first time?
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Reda. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm joining in from India, and as a scholar alumni myself, and I did a few courses, and I found it absolutely exciting because although I had done some courses online, but I found this one extremely unusual. The scholar courses were very unusual, and the best part was that you got to connect with so many professionals from around the world and discuss about experiences and learn so much from each other. So I'm sure you all will learn a lot from each other. This is more about learning from each other than being coached on anything. And my advice to you would be, do not feel overwhelmed by the emails or the chat groups. It's for me, I thought it was great to be connected and always get the information if you were lagging behind, because that seems to happen to all of us while we're working and doing some course. So, another thing I would like to say is organize yourself. You do not need to panic. There is a team to help you, and everybody, even your peers, are always there to help you out if you're getting stuck. So I'm sure you'll have a great journey in this course, and all the best to you all for implementing your projects and for completing your projects on EIR. Thank you. Over to you, Reda.
Great, thank you so much, Shalini. So this should be our last slide. There's a few more, but and I'd like to ask Aja to explain what this is about, why we are giving you a choice at this stage over what you want to do with this course. Ja, and introduce yourself as well.
Thanks, Reda. Hi, everyone. So this is Ja. I'm working on the learning side of the Geneva Learning Foundation team. I would like to congratulate everyone who's in the room, because you've been selected out of almost 1,000 applications. So it was a tough decision for the team, for the Paajo team. So I really would like to congratulate you and also emphasize and reiterate what the team has said. We're a smaller cohort, but it's really about peer learning. And so this slide is asking you to, after having heard what Reda just shared about the course structure, everything, whether you're ready to commit to the course and supporting your peers in this course. If you feel ready, now is the time to type in a yes or go go in the chat room. And if you feel, well, the course doesn't sound like I could make it, or I don't have time blocked in my calendar, then it's now that you should tell us, so that we can perhaps give the chance to other applicants. I am seeing lots of goes. That's really exciting to see. So just to, really excited, and I'm happy to be able to accompany you on this learning journey on EIR, and together with the Paajo team. Please don't hold back with sharing experiences or asking any questions that you may have throughout this course. Back to you, Rita.
Thank you so much, Ja. And yes, indeed, you have a choice before you. This is now. Think in your mind, are you ready for this? You now have should have a sense of what's ahead of you, what's ahead for you if you decide to stick it out. So the choice is now. If you haven't yet, typed in what you'd like to do, there is no dishonor if you opt out now. But we would rather have you realize that this is not for you now rather than later. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing more goes. And look forward to seeing you next week for orientation. The team from the foundation side, Alain Blaise, Shalini, and Ja will be leading you and supporting you from now on and in the coming weeks. Take care. And so for those of you who are still here, we're now finishing we're now done with the mandatory discussion group. And if you would like, as we explained, I hope it was sufficiently clear, if you need help, then please stick around, because Alain Blaise has kindly offered to spend an additional up to 30 minutes, I believe, until his next commitment to answer specific questions and to really show you the ropes about working in this course and drawing on his experience both in successfully completing many scholar courses and also his experience supporting many scholars who started out with great difficulty and who ultimately earned certification and turned out to be very successful scholars. Over to you, Ella.
Yes, Breda, like you said, this session is not mandatory, but we really want to appreciate you staying here, because we know that you really want to make sure that you have all what you need in terms of, and then you're really familiar with tools, and most important,